by resigning. And I wish Councilmember Loloee and his family the very best. There is a difference between criminal charges and the questions that led me to call for his resignation last week. On the criminal side, I have not prejudged whether he is guilty or innocent. And I said then in my statement, and I repeat today, anyone charged with a crime, a serious crime, is entitled to due process. That is not what my call was about. My call last week, and the call of the majority of my city council colleagues, so not just me alone, majority of my city council colleagues, was different. Serious criminal charges involving alleged fraud and obstruction create a cloud, not only over Mr. Loloee, but the city itself. These serious criminal charges are simply incompatible with continuing in public office, which is why I think he did the right thing by resigning. Secondly, the court order that he agreed to as part of his release when the indictment came down raised serious questions about his residency once again. His resignation is in the best interest of the city. Regarding filling the vacancy, I will consult, of course, with my colleagues, but here is my initial thought. There is a multi-candidate race to succeed the now resigned incumbent in District 2. If any one of those candidates wins a majority of the votes and thereby avoiding a runoff, they would not be sworn in for a new term until December of 2024. If that were the case, and if a candidate were to win outright, I would recommend strongly to my colleagues that we appoint that individual the following week. If no candidate wins a majority in March and there is a runoff, I would recommend appointing a caretaker to the seat. I will recommend to my colleagues that we do not fill the vacancy until after March the 5th. Because to appoint a caretaker now would mean that if a candidate won a majority, that individual would not be able to start for 8 or 9 months, to the disadvantage of the district, which would have then chosen their preferred candidate for a full 4-year term. That's my statement. I'm happy to answer your questions.
I have a follow-up on the appointment, but I want to ask you this. Sean Loloee, in his first 30 seconds, called you out. What is your response to what he had to say about you?
Yeah. Obviously, Councilmember Loloee is under a lot of pressure. And I just wish him the best. That's all. He did the right thing. And I wish him the best. I don't have a reaction. I'm been in this business a long time. I stand by everything that I have said and done, always in the best interest of the city. I wish him the best.
Follow up on the appointment. You said this is your initial thoughts. What is the process to making a final determination?
Consulting with my colleagues, and ultimately, I don't make the decision. My colleagues and I make the decision. And so we will have a session on this within the coming days, consult with the city attorney about how to best do that. And we will go from there. I'm just sharing with you, as I've already shared with a couple of them, what my advice will be. Because I know and the reason I'm doing it now is because I know this is going to be a question that's foremost in the mind of the residents of District 2 and many in the city. And given that the primary election is now about 2 months away, that's a short enough time to, on balance, say, let's not fill it with a caretaker now. Let's see if somebody wins, and appoint that person if they win. And if they don't, and there's a runoff, well, then we will still have the remainder of the term to appoint somebody who can represent District 2 in the meantime, until the new member wins the November election and goes from there. I will say that I suppose just like the deferral process with redistricting, that between now and the time we fill the vacancy, there's only one elected representative for the district, and that's me. So I will do what we have done in the deferred areas of East Sacramento and other parts of the city, and my team, Chinua Rhodes, Director of Community Engagement, and my entire team will represent the people of District 2. Well, first of all, I'm not, and certainly the city is not responsible for whatever a United States attorney chooses to do in moving forward with very serious criminal charges. And like I said, in the criminal context, anyone, including Councilmember Loloee, is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. And, there is a difference between widely reported allegations, which we all took seriously, and a formal federal indictment. Formal federal indictment with detailed charges. Again, criminal case, that's one side of it. The other side of it is the distraction and the cloud over the city and the city council for the council member to continue serving. And so he made his own decision. I think he made the right decision.
Mayor, given that cloud you were mentioning, now that this resignation has been submitted, what can you do, what can the council do to restore the public trust in the council and city government?
I don't know that I'm sorry. I don't know that the city council has to do anything to restore the public trust. This is one member. One member. It's not the entire city council. And he is responsible for his own actions. And he's responsible for the decision he made today. I mean, I watched the video and, you think I'm coming in here all fired up. And no. Feel kind of sorry for him. Feel bad for him. He's under a lot of pressure, obviously. And I know what I did was in the best interest of the city. And that's always going to be my frame. But I don't think there's a restoration of trust issue for the city. My colleagues and I are all working hard to represent our districts in the entire city on a whole wide range of problems. And I'm looking forward to 2024. I got a lot of planes to land here in my last year. Homelessness is improving a little bit. We have seen in the latter part of 2023 a cleaner city, a safer city. Tomorrow we may have an announcement to make about some additional significant capacity on the service and bed side. On the economic development front, I want to finish my work on the waterfront, on the rail yards, on the regional youth sports facility, on so much more. And I'm looking forward to the year ahead. This would have been a significant distraction. And yet, we haven't even had our first city council meeting yet. And so he did the right thing by allowing us as a city to focus on our work, not on this.
If I could just ask this, while we have you here, there are now going to be, at least for the next 2 months, 7 members of the council.
Plus me.
Really? Isn't that with you?
No, it's 8.
Because you're down the East Sacramento District Council seat.
No, they're all filled. It's just they're all filled. We have 8. We'll have 8 people. Yeah, it's just there's new districts in for the next election.
Because right now you took over for Harris.
I took over. It's complicated.
Right.
I took some of former council member Harris's district because the new district kicks in 2024, and there'll be an election for that new district.
Well, I guess the question is there a concern on your part that there are a sizable portion of residents who don't have a direct council?
Well, I think it's always better when the council is full, and then where everybody has, where every council district is fully represented. Some of it, the redistricting part, was not it's out of our control. I mean, that's just the way it is every 10 years. And yet in this instance, we are only talking about a couple of months, and it's the beginning of the year, and the seat will be filled. Again, if somebody wins an outright majority, we can fill the seat right after March 5th. I have to think through with my colleagues whether we begin the process for a potential caretaker before March 5th, even if we wouldn't appoint until afterwards. But that's something we'll discuss over the next couple of weeks.
Mayor, you mentioned it a little bit earlier about there's a long list of things you want to accomplish before this term runs out. But these past few weeks, if you can characterize it in one word, with Councilmember Loloee and the indictment, how would you characterize that?
It weighs heavy. I guess that's 2 words or 3 words. It weighs heavy. It does. I take this very seriously. And like I said, I feel bad for him and his family. But I also feel bad for the people of the district because they deserve full representation. And this is a cloud. And so, it's not the first time I've had to deal with this. I dealt with it when I was the leader of the Senate. And, I find that in moments of crisis, you keep your calm, you keep your wits about you, and you think through all of the moves and decisions. I think, if you look at the history of these couple of weeks, when the indictment first came down, I believe on the 15th or 16th of December, I did not call for Councilmember Loloee's resignation. And that was very deliberate. I knew what I believed, but I didn't because I was engaged in quiet, private conversations with him, urging him to do the right thing, but in a way that would be dignified for him. Well, weeks went by and he made a different decision. And so then I had to calmly decide what I thought was best for the city. And what I believed and still believe strongly is that his resignation is in the best interest of the city. And so he resigned. And, he made he made a long video. Life goes on.
Did you get a heads up that he was going to
No.
resign, or did you watch the video?
I watched the video. Yeah. I heard the name Darrell Steinberg 3 or 4 times. But, that was it.
Mayor, I have a question. Given, that part of when you asked him publicly to resign, you cited the residency concern. Given that, the city hired an independent investigator to look into that a year ago, is there anything that he would have done differently?
No, first of all, it's irrelevant now. Secondly, what I put forward in my statement last week was a different set of facts, which was simply not to ask whether he had been living in the district in the past, but whether there was a legal impact of the court order, which said and says, because it's current, that he must live in Granite Bay. That was a new question that I was asking. So the two are separate.
And I know you responded to this one a little bit, but in the video, he specifically says that he kind of supported bad actors in the city council before. Do you have any response to that?
Well, it's always important to be factually correct. I know he cited Alan Warren. Alan Warren's issues were under Kevin Johnson's mayorship, not mine. So I wasn't the mayor. And Jay Chenier, I don't know what he was referring to. I think he was referring to the Crocker Village issue. Councilmember Chenier was not charged in a federal indictment with serious criminal wrongdoing. Quite different.
Thanks.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, but I'm going to take one or two more questions. She can wait 5 minutes. It's okay. Yes.
Any last words for the people of that district who are now going to be without a council member?
Well, yeah, a couple of words. Number one, my office and I intend to provide you comprehensive and excellent representation during this interim period. And secondly, we're going to endeavor to ensure that there is a council member in that seat as soon as possible. As I explained, I'm going to recommend to my colleagues that we not fill it until after March the 5th. But District 2 is really, really important part of the city. It's a part of the city that too often has been left behind. I know the council member talked today about the millions of dollars through the American Rescue Plan for North Sacramento revitalization. That was the mayor's initiative, by the way. That was the mayor's letter regarding recommending how to spend the American Rescue Plan dollars. And it was Measure U that helped pay for a number of the other youth-related improvements out in North Sacramento, and ARP that funded the Iceland skating rink and all those things. And so I'm very committed to District 2. Always have been. A very close relationship with the people at Grant High School. In fact, I've got a championship ring from last year. And I care very deeply about that part of the city. And I can assure people that they will have our full attention.